Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our unboxing and initial impressions of the Cenomax 7-inch digital photo frame. This is the F7024B, and it sells on Amazon and 3D Company's website for around $60. So it's not too expensive, it's relatively affordable. Obviously, digital photo frames are not as hot as they once were, but it can still be a nice way for you to customize a room and show off photos that you've taken and do that through a memory stick such as an SD card slot located on the side of the unit. This one is just a traditional digital photo frame, so no Wi-Fi or additional advanced functions, and hence the not so expensive price point. But it does have interchangeable frames, which adds a bit extra customization to the unit. So taking a look here, what is kind of interesting is it is powered by Lite-On's IT, so it's kind of using kind of an interesting tech as well, so you can check out more articles about that posted on our website. But for now, we're just going to take a look at some of the specs on the unit. So it has that 7-inch display. Screen resolution is capped at 480 by 234, so definitely not HD by any stretch, not even 720p, but overall does a decent job, I would say, for some quick images and maybe some quick videos. It has a contrast ratio of 400:1, aspect ratio of a widescreen 16:9, supports SD card, multimedia sticks, as well as memory sticks by Sony, compact flash, supports both JPEG and MP3, so it can play back some music as well, uses a USB 2.0 host, and the power supply specs are down below there. So taking a look at what is quickly in the box, here are some different looks for multiple different seasons. Gives you a bit of inspiration of how to customize it. And the last thing that I'm going to quickly mention here is the accelerometer. So there's a motion sensor on board. You can actually rotate this, and it switches orientation automatically with your photos. It also includes an alarm clock, also a time and a calendar app built in, which are kind of neat and extras you don't find on every single digital photo frame. Looks like there's a quick startup guide telling you how to set things up. What is included. Here's just the frame itself. Seems like there is a plastic sheet protecting your investment. It's an acrylic frame, so it allows you to put in these customizable designs. It's a very glossy material, so it will attract a fair amount of fingerprints and dust as you use it, but the screen of the photo frame itself is matte, so it doesn't really reflect too much light. You can still see it, I think, under moderate lighting indoors. IR port on the very top for the included remote, and overall a pretty clean, classy look. Back features stereo speakers, actually, which are pretty impressive. Kickstand, which is rotatable for the two orientations, and then on the sides, all the ports, including the USB port, proprietary charging port, memory card ports, and on the very top, all the controls. This isn't a touchscreen. You have access to manual for toggling back and forth between your photos, going back and forth between different sources you may have plugged in, playing and pausing the slideshow, and turning the unit on or off. Also an LED light to tell you the status of the unit. Other side, a compact flash card slot, as well as a volume control for the stereo speakers. And that's the design of the unit. Setting that off to the side, we have access to a user manual printed in black and white, as well as a quick warranty guide as well. And here, looks like we have the multiple frames. So for different things like Valentine's Day, this is more of probably a classy wood frame. This is more of a spring funky frame. So it changes the look of the unit dramatically just by what you put on. So this is a interesting little accessory that we don't tend to see. Here is the remote. We're going to pull out that tab. Probably uses a CR2032 cell battery, which is pretty standard. It's going to just allow you to control things like the speed of the slideshow, controlling up, down, left, right for rotating an image, playing pause, skipping it, repeating it, zooming in or out, and going back to the clock, to the calendar apps, and selecting between different sources. So a pretty standard remote. The battery in here should last for about 2 years before you need to replace it. Here is the proprietary charging cable. Has a decent length, I'd say, not too long though. This unit does not have an integrated battery, so it does rely on being plugged in at all times, and that's basically it. So we're going to plug this into power and show you briefly some of the menus. Here's the initial boot up. Once you plug it into power and tap on the power on off switch, it presents the full UI after, I would say, 20 seconds of load up time. And you have access to different things like changing going back and forth between things like the internal memory, which is very, very limited, so not really much there. There's a few ads, it seems like, pre-included, but then going back and forth between things like the complex flash slot, if you have multiple cards inserted, SD card slot, and then, of course, the time and date app, setting the time and date stamp, changing the brightness controls, how long before the screen times out. If you want to set that to infinity, just being displayed in the background, that's something else that you can do. From a first impressions perspective, it seems like the screen is decent. For a TFT LCD, it seems like viewing angles are acceptable, perhaps a little better than I expected. Colors actually seem pretty well balanced and accurate just from a first glance. It doesn't seem as pixelated as I thought it would be, judging from that resolution. There is a rather large bezel, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it does seem to have a decent look overall, and viewing angles are acceptable. Not as wide, I guess, as a AMOLED screen, but still decent, still not bad. And if we go back into the main menu, I'm going to press on one of the menu keys there. Maybe that's going to allow me to go through some different settings, again, like photo, calendar, playing back some videos, as I talked about at the beginning, going through settings. So if I go to, actually, let's check out the calendar. So I select that. Just a very, very basic layout. Seems like it's preset to 2084, which is kind of funny, but that is what it looks like. Probably there's also a setting for you to go and toggle between things like the time, calendar, and then your photos. Videos can play back with sound, as I talked about. MP4 format is supported. And again, you can go through settings as well. Let's go left and right. Tap on settings, and you can change things again like slideshow with MP3 play in the background, your music, and so on and so forth. Language settings as well. So just a quick video first look at this Cenomax 7-inch digital photo frame. This is a pretty, I think, solid piece if you're looking for something that's not too expensive but offers some customization. That built-in accelerometer and that interchangeable frame design are unique aspects, but otherwise a pretty standard no-frills experience. You can check out more details as we come out with our official written reviews in our coming weeks. You can also check out our article, which is coming soon. This has been our video first look and impressions unboxing here at OS Reviews.